Maggie had never been so overjoyed. The ultrasound had confirmed her deepest hope. She was having a baby girl. Tears of happiness had streamed down her face as she clutched the little picture of her daughter. For as long as she could remember, Maggie had dreamed of having a daughter to bond with, to share secrets and laughter with, the way she had always imagined sisters would. She never had a blood sister, and this baby girl felt like an answered prayer. That evening she rushed home, her heart light with excitement. She couldn't wait to share the news with her husband, John. But the moment she told him, his face fell. Maggie's joy wavered as she saw the cloud of disappointment settle over him. "What's wrong?" she asked, her voice trembling with unease. John sighed heavily. "It's a girl," he said, as if that explained everything. "Yes, a beautiful little girl," Maggie replied, confused. "Isn't it wonderful?" But John shook his head. "I'm not happy about it, Maggie. I've been thinking. The way I want to raise our daughter is different from how you'll want to raise her." Maggie stared at him, her heart sinking. "What do you mean? I don't want her to have her ears pierced," John said firmly. "And she won't be wearing trousers." Maggie felt a cold wave of shock wash over her. "But John, I've always imagined doing those things with my daughter. She's not even born yet, and you're already deciding how she'll live?" "It's not just about what you want," John replied, his voice growing harder. "The church has taught me that we need to raise her with modesty and purity. I won't let our daughter be led astray." Maggie's eyes filled with tears, but they weren't tears of joy anymore. "When we met, I wore trousers, makeup, earrings. You never had a problem with it then." "That was before," John said, his tone final. "Things have changed since I started attending church." Maggie's heart ached as she looked at the man she loved. The man who was supposed to be her partner in raising their child. But now, instead of celebrating this miracle, they were being torn apart by it. "If you insist on raising her like this," John continued, "then you'll have to leave. Take her to your father's house because I won't allow it here." Maggie's breath caught in her throat. "You're asking me to choose between you and our daughter?" John didn't reply, his silence saying everything. Maggie's tears flowed freely now. She couldn't believe this was happening. This should have been the happiest time of their lives, and yet it felt like the world was crumbling beneath her feet. "I won't stay in a marriage where I can't raise my daughter the way I believe is right," she whispered, her voice trembling with emotion. "If you can't accept that, then I'll go." John's face was unreadable as he turned away. Maggie knew his heart had hardened, and she feared there was no turning back. That night, as Maggie lay in bed, she gently placed her hand on her growing belly. "I'll protect you," she whispered to her unborn daughter, "no matter what it takes." But even as she made that promise, Maggie knew that the future was uncertain. The life she had imagined for her little family was slipping away, and she didn't know if she could ever get it back. What would you do if you were in Maggie's shoes? Do you think she is making the right decision to leave the marriage?